Welcome to the Scottish Property Podcast. This is a show where we aim to educate, inspire and entertain through real life stories and interviews from people in the Scottish property community.
As always, thanks for listening and give us a follow on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Remember to join us at our monthly networking events on the first Wednesday of every month. Tickets are available on our website. So without further ado, we'll just cut straight into this week's podcast.
Welcome to the Scottish Property Podcast. Ross Allan from Allan Properties.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Right, mate. Cheers for joining us.
Yeah.
I actually said, "Oh, hi, Alan," when you came in there.
Yeah, that's
So,
that's what
apologies for
Instagram is.
Allan Property.
Yeah.
Just followed you the other day, actually, so I'm looking forward to hearing your story.
At least the Instagram's working then. It's in your mind.
Absolutely.
Let's take us back, mate. A wee bit of background about yourself, what you did to get yourself into property, I suppose. A wee bit about the background there.
So, born and raised in Blantyre, South Lanarkshire. It's not too far from here. Wasn't very good at school. We were leaving school and going to college around about the time where the internet was becoming, the start of what it is now. So I got into kind of affiliate marketing back then. I did that. I dropped out of my college class at 19, did affiliate marketing, and kind of just went with it. It started going quite well.
Affiliate marketing. What?
So,
can I just explain to listeners what that is?
So imagine, like, for instance, you own a website. Most of the big ones back then was online dating was just becoming a thing. Casinos.
Right.
So the casino companies would come and say, you get us someone to sign up to our platform, we'll give you a commission. Basically just commission, right? Or lead gen, as it's probably called now. So yeah, you would get a commission, and it would be about buying advertising. Getting the advertising, having so many people clicking through to the landing page of the user, signing up, and then for every person that signed up, you get a commission. So
I remember back in the day where I used to type into Google how to get rich quick and all the rest of it. That was one of the things that used to pop up.
Yeah.
And I ended up going for the...
Ross made money off you.
I ended up going for the spread betting course, I think it was, or the foreign exchange market, currency trading. That's what I ended up going for. But a mate of mine, he spent 20 grand on a course to learn how to do affiliate marketing.
Yeah.
And they were like, we'll set you up with a website and all the rest of it, and we'll teach you how to do affiliate marketing.
Yeah. Most of the people doing those courses are no actually it's the gurus, right?
Exactly.
That was the thing.
And it happens in every, it happens in property, right?
Absolutely.
But how did it pan out for you then? Was that quite successful?
We did well. Young boy doing it at 19. All my mates were at college. Angela, my wife, who's my partner in Allan Property, she was at university, but she did it as well, which was great for her because she'd be at uni all day. Come home, she'd have to study, do homework essentially, coursework, and then she would be able to do affiliate marketing at night, and it wasn't intensive. I mean, for a long time, I worked maybe 2 hours a day. I was a lazy get. I'd wake up at like 12 in the afternoon, 1 in the afternoon, get up, head up to my loft. I built an office in my loft in my first house, so I would go up there, my bottle of iron brew, and just sit work for 2 hours, and then I just. 4 o'clock, you're kind of finished.
What sort of year was that? When was that then?
I first started that, it was July 2002.
Oh, aye, so early internet days.
Very early, aye, that's what I mean. It was like a lot of the stuff you did then was like you'd call it kind of AdSense now. But it was like, they get the page and it'd just be like 50 links on a page. And you get paid for every click.
Is that where you get pop-ups on all the porn sites and all that?
Pretty much, aye.
It's not that I know.
Next thing you had insight, that's 2002 web browser.
What he was trying.
So that's really interesting because, did you have loads of different websites and different...
No, I bought the advertising on all the other websites. So I would go to people and I would say to them, hey, like selling some ad space? Yeah, we are. How much is it? In the very early days, it was quite hard. The best traffic, as we called it, was to generate your own traffic. So, if you could make like a wee blog site or something like that, try and get some traction in the search engines back in the day, then that was free advertising. Then you send them off to the click sites or the lead gen or the affiliate links and stuff, and you'd make money. But mostly it was paid advertising. That was what I was pretty good at. So I did that for right through until like 2007. I had a wee bit of a bad spell. I was quite a spendy person. I was making okay money. I bought my first house, and then that's where it kind of started to unravel. Like, I bought the house and the bills started coming, the costs started coming, and all of a sudden there was more going out and coming in. So I was like, this is, so I hunkered down a bit.
Worked more than 2 hours a day.
Worked more than 2 hours a day. And I was chatting to to one of the guys that owned a really big company in the space that I was an affiliate of his. So how's things going? Yeah, it's going not bad, This is sitting on ICQ, like way back in the day, one of the original chat platforms, chatting away to him. ICQ?
ICQ? I missed that one.
I think I missed
that.
It was like early.
MSN. Was it MSN?
Yeah, so ICQ was before one of the ones that we used in business a lot. So I'm just talking away to him and he's saying like, no, things have got a wee bit tough. I'm coming out the other side, it's getting better. And he's like, it's a hard thing you do, He's like, we have all these sales coming in from, like they had 25,000 affiliates, but they never had one person in-house generating the traffic and sales for themselves. So this conversation went on for like a day or two and then he just said, listen, would you consider coming to do this for me? He's like, I'll give you a budget each month, big budgets. You buy advertising for that, send it to my links, my traffic, send the traffic to my products, and obviously generate revenue for the company and profits. I said, aye, sure. What we're talking in kind of payment here. So we came to a number, what he would pay me, and I was like, oh, that's going to really help this situation. So again, 3 hours a day for him. So, I'm working still only 5 hours a day. That was the good times.
Earning good money?
Yeah, earning really good money back then, like say 23, 24-ish. But that was...
23, 24 age?
Yeah.
Age-wise?
Yeah, 23, 24 at age. I was earning decent money and I'd had that scare with like buying the house, not being ready for all the costs that were going to come with it. So started to save aggressively. Kind of realised that, I can't live spending every penny I've got. So started saving well. After about 9 months doing that for him, he's like, listen, this is going quite well. Would you move to Las Vegas and build a team? I was like, oh, okay, why Las Vegas? He's like, well, I'm buying a house there, 4-bed house in Las Vegas, 20 minutes off the strip. He's like, you've got a pool, it's got a hot tub and stuff. You move into it, we'll turn the garage into an office, you hire a team, build out your sales team, and we'll just go
This is a Scottish guy, by the way?
No, Canadian.
Canadian, right.
So so he was in Canada, he owned the company, and I was like, Vegas, I'd been there a couple of times.
What kind of company was it that he owned?
So he owned an affiliate network.
Right.
So he would have offers of his own, and then he would go out to other companies and say,
subbing them out.
I've got all these affiliates. You bring your offers to me, you give me, so you would have a secondary commission. So say, for instance, a casino company could pay £100 for every user that signed up. He would give his affiliates, say, £65.
Mm-hmm.
He would take the rest off the top, for his.
And what was your role then at that point?
So my official role at that time was his media buyer. So I would go out and buy the advertising, monetize it, make it into profit for him, and then scale. The Las Vegas thing never worked out because it was a bit of a stupid idea, to be honest.
Right.
Just sending this young guy out to Las Vegas.
Things could have gone all downhill from there as well. Do you know what I mean? At 23, 24.
Would have. And my wife was still...
You've just been at Vegas, haven't you?
I was giving you some tips on it.
Aye.
It's a good place.
That's brilliant. Did you end up going to it then?
No, we never went, but that changed. So what happened was he bought a company in Toronto. So where he lived was 4 hours west of Toronto, small city called Windsor, and it was southwest Ontario on the border with America. So he bought a company in Toronto and kept the main guy on. He had an office all set up, a couple of employees. So he said, listen, scrap Vegas, come to Toronto instead. We're set up. We'll get you a condo downtown. We'll get you all set up in that, and you'll be straight in day one. You'll have a team round about you. So I went over to Toronto naively. They're like, come on out, get a flight, come on out. So I booked a flight, went out, and they're like, we're starting your visa application. So I was like, what do you mean? They're like, well, you need a visa to be here, a work permit. So they started that when I kind of just got there, and it was denied, kicked out 6 months later. So we left there, moved to Malta, made another company there. It was kind of hands off. So the lawyers found this cool loophole where if I went out to Malta, they installed me as the managing director of the company. We built another office there. We hired a couple other guys. In 1 year's time, they could buy that company back as me as the managing director, as an asset of that business. I get a free work permit into Canada for 1 year.
Right, so there's a wee loophole there.
We get a holiday in Malta for a year. And
so it's Malta? So where's Malta again?
Just like south of Italy, just like in the Mediterranean.
Right. You and Dutton just went on holiday there. He had that on his Instagram.
Yeah, quite a couple of people in proper are there. Taylor McDonald's there as well right now, I think. So,
Right.
So we lived there for a year. It was great timing because
Did you enjoy that?
It was brilliant. Yeah, Angela had just finished uni, so she's like go to Malta for a year.
See, with Angela, you guys been together since really early on. Then 16.
So
Wow.
20. It was just 24 years together in March there, and we celebrated our 11-year wedding anniversary in April.
Wow. Right.
So,
Okay.
We've got a wee
So
boy now
he's
as
always
well.
been like, so with all the shifting about and all that, it's, was she fully on board? Like, she just kind of come with you, kind of follow you sort of thing?
She never came to Toronto.
Right.
Because she was finishing, it was like her last year at university.
Aye.
So she's like, I need to kind of focus on this. So I kind of went out just to see what it would be like, which was a good thing. Imagine she stopped university, came out and get voted out. So that worked out really good. So she graduated and we went to Malta for the year. We got a nice apartment over there. And she, again, so she was still doing the affiliate marketing stuff. So, she was like, it's pretty much like a year out. She could work in the mornings and stuff and then do what she wanted in the afternoons.
Ultimately, you ended up back in Canada though.
Yes, after 1 year back in Canada. So that was 2010 we ended up back there. We got a 1 year work permit in, but the lawyers assured us that this would be much easier avenue to renew. So we got there and they started, this time they were quite proactive. They started the paperwork right away. So we knew quite early on that we were going to get it. So we moved over and we this time instead of renting, we bought a house, which was a really good idea because the city was at its absolute lowest property values in a very long time.
What year was that?
2010, so after 2008-9.
Right.
Good time to buy then.
It was a brilliant time, honestly.
So I remember seeing all the news and all that about all the US, it's all the foreclosures and all that and the repossessions basically, because they really got hit really bad.
What was the inclination to buy rather than rent then?
Do you know, see if I'm being honest, there was another guy who was in Malta with us, a mate of mine, Tim, he's from Australia, so he moved to Malta as well, and then he came to Canada about a month before us, so we were just going to rent, but Tim's quite a switched on boy as well. He's like, I think we should buy here. He's like, the market's at the bottom. He's like, the rents they're still.
Can you remember what you bought that first house for?
Aye, so it was they call it what was it? It's called again? Like it was like a split level house. So you walked in, you went upstairs to the living room and bedrooms, and downstairs to your basement. We bought that for 194,000 Canadian dollars, which is what in pounds? Roughly 115.
115.
Yeah, we spent.
Is this in just outskirts of Toronto?
No, so like I said, that was 4 hours west in Windsor, Ontario.
Ah, right, Ontario.
This was that we'd left Toronto, came back to Windsor. He said he'd shut the Toronto office down after I left.
Aye.
So we came back to Windsor, where the main office was, 50, 60 people. Got that place. We just painted it. It was lovely. It was nice.
How did that go for lending, by the way? When you were, did you have to buy
lending?
Cash or
no.
Did you get a mortgage?
Do you know what the weird thing? Yeah, the weird thing about moving there, right? So we got there. The company got us a flat for 2 months till we get established. Couldn't get lending for a car, an $18,000 car, right? Nobody would touch me with it, even though I had a good income and stuff. But I mortgage, not a problem. Here you go.
Is that?
Aye. 5% deposit.
Even though you were just there on you were obviously had some sort of visa, but
it was a 1 year.
You're not a resident or anything like that.
A 1 year work permit.
And you think 2 years after the global financial crash, you would imagine it would have been a lot harder.
It was weird.
How much percentage did you get? Can you remember?
95%. There was only a 5% deposit we put on that house. And then we fixed it up with cash. So the basement was unfinished. We finished the basement. We put in, what did you do? Your 25, 26. Put a bar in, a pool table, cinema area, toilet, and then it was great. We lived there for 4 years.
No kids at this point?
No plans for kids either.
Aye.
So we done all that, and then we get married 2013, back here in Scotland. We come back here to get married, and then we went back after the honeymoon and all that stuff, back over to Canada, and we kind of thought, you know what, the house was nice, but see when you walked out your back door, like all your neighbours could see your fence was useless. Like all your neighbours are up on their deck, like hi, waving over to you and stuff. So we thought, right, we'd like a traditional 2-story house, like ground floor, first floor. So we started looking, and a year later we bought the next house, which was.
Did you sell the original one?
We sold it. Yeah, we sold that.
What did you make on that?
So I think in the basement cost is about $20,000 roughly. So say we're into it for like $215, $220. Say we sold it at $269.
Right.
Were you talking Canadian dollars still?
Aye, I wish it was pounds, but aye, Canadian dollars. So
You don't say that the prices are rampant, fucking through the roof since you sold that one. Like,
it was insane. See, the second house was even more insane. We bought that one $412,000,
Right.
which is about £220,000. We put a pool in. We the landscaping and everything was beautiful. Driveway and sprinkler system and all that stuff.
Right.
Put all that in, and then we sold it 5 years later to move home for $750 again. But aye, so
some uplift.
quite a good amount uplift. Aye.
Right.
That's
So
the market recovering and then Ontario.
Yeah.
So in total, your time in Canada, I mean, obviously you're here now. Have you still got connections in Canada?
I've got all my friends and like business associates back there. We keep in touch quite regularly.
How long in total were you there for?
9 years.
9 years living there. It's quite a substantial amount of time.
It was.
Quite a chunk of your life. And, you know, looking back on that time, I mean, you got, you know, good memories. Like, did you like living there? Like, what was the reason for moving back then?
Well, so the reason for moving back was ultimately we had our son, Finlay.
Right.
So Finlay was born in February 2018. And Everett, you know, he get out of the hospital and that, and Everett was brilliant. So good. Like, Angela's mum and dad came out for a visit when he was like 6-7 weeks old. My mum and stepdad came out for a visit with my brother, sister-in-law and my 2 nephews in the summer. Brilliant again. We came home in September when he was 6 months old for a visit. So we came home for 2 weeks, and you know, everybody's wanting to see the wee baby. Everybody's all about it. Your mates are wanting to see you again. And it was like, start to get a wee bit. So we went back to Canada, and over the kind of next couple of weeks, it was like, I think we should move home. We didn't have any help. A wee bit, you know, like we'd no help out there really. We had friends, but wasn't the kind of friends we say, hey, go take the wee man for a few hours. We're going to go, you know, at the pub. Like, it was...
we're all parents sitting here around this table, so we know how it is. And, you know, sometimes you just need that break as well. Like...
So it took us about a year, though, for kind of early decision made to actually get everything sold, because we already got into property by then. We got our first rental property in Canada.
All right.
We'd got it, and then 2 weeks before we got the keys, we found out Angela was pregnant. So that was quite... that was...
Did you manage to sell it then and get back before COVID?
Yeah, so everything went crazy. Like, the first house we bought in Canada was a total gut job, fixer-upper. So we ripped it to pieces and stuff, fixed it all up. It was lovely. We had that rented out for 2 years, which was great. And then a big uplift in the value as well. Right after my son was born, we bought a condo. This was like probably one of the best deals we've ever done.
Condo's a flat apartment.
Aye, so it's a condominium building. So typically a condo building will have more facilities than like your flats. So they had a pool.
Only know because I listen to Grant Cardone.
Aye, he owns buildings, I think. But no, so it was a big tower. It was like 18 stories, I think. Right. It was right in downtown Windsor, our city. It was close to the university. So it was quite a good place for students. Right. So we bought this place. All we had to do was paint it and change the appliances. It was a studio. So we had that for 11 months, and then that was like, obviously we were starting to kind of get the idea of leaving. So we sold them up, sold our house, and sold everything. We brought one thing home for Canada with us. It was my son's nursery chair, but everything else we sold. Right. So, busy times in the summer of 2019. But no, we did well out of the properties as well.
So you came back with it, you know, you came back in a pretty good position financially. Yeah. We had how did see obviously you're selling everything for dollars and then kind of come back converting to pounds. Did the exchange rate work out all right for you? Because that's always a concern, isn't it? Are you hitting it at the right time? And then
we hit it bang on the best time it had ever been. I'm quite lucky a lot of the time. So when the exchange rate all the time I was in Canada was roughly about 1.7 to 1.8 so £1, 1.7, $1.8. When we had got all the money out for the lawyers into the bank account, ready to wire it home, it was at 1.55. Right. So it was quite a...
You came back with a good chunk of change and a good decent bank account balance. And then...
Just in the nick of time.
What happens for people who... There'll be quite a lot of people, I would imagine. We had Stephen McKevney on as well, and he was moved out to Dubai and stuff like that for a long period of time and then came back. But there must be challenges in that as well, because you pretty much leave your life back here. So, you know, I'm thinking in terms of like, you know, having an address, you know, getting, you know, lending then if you're moving into property and stuff like that. Did you hit any barriers or challenges like that when you came back?
Yeah, we did. So do you know what? It's not exactly the most expensive thing, but do you know what pissed me off the most? We moved to Canada and they wouldn't take we had a clean driving history, no accidents, no claims. We started fate as if we were a brand new driver, so insurance was through the roof. We spent 9 years there, got, again, 0 claims. Our insurance was really getting back towards being cheap. We moved back to Scotland. Oh, we can't take your Canadian driving history, you're back to square one.
Right.
So your insurance was just quite...
Stuff, just think wee things like that, which is like annoy you.
Yeah.
It's like you're back to being like, just pass your driving test again. Getting the black box fitted.
So it's quite annoying with that. But we were quite lucky in the fact that HSBC, see who we got our own mortgage with was HSBC, and they're a worldwide bank.
Right.
So they took all of our income, our tax returns from Canada, profits from the business, and they were like, right, obviously we can look at you as a global case. So we were able to get our mortgage to buy our new house.
So was that something you arranged to buy as soon as you came back?
No, so when we moved back, we'd actually sold our 2 houses, flat, condo and house over there, and we had actually agreed to buy 2 houses here. We'd bought one the year before as well, actually. So when we moved back, we had 3 here already. So we were fixing one up.
How did you do that? Like, were you buying without viewing them, or did you get family to go down?
So we owned one in this street in Blantyre, and then another one come up in the street a few doors down. We knew the houses inside out. We knew they're good quality stock. The one that we got, the first one we got in 2018 was a crazy story. Like, it was a bad divorce and the wife was staying in it while the man gave her a year or something like that. Said, right, listen, in a year you're out. It was his house. So the year came up and he told her to get out, and she took a hammer and walked around the house and smashed it to pieces. Shit. So the guy knew.
So there was a few holes to fill in that property then when you got the keys to.
A few bits of glass everywhere, like the oven was smashed. And so my stepdad, he lived on the street, he knew the guy. So he just kind of goes and says, like, hey, my stepson will buy this. It's like, my stepdad is probably the best sourcer I've had. He's sourced me 2, just not charged me for him. But so he got me 2 in that street, and one a street over. So that was kind of it was just
word of mouth, people
an area you know well though as well, and obviously you get your local network of your dad doing all that. So your stepdad,
mum's husband. So he did all the work as well. He just retired. He worked for CCG, like the construction company. So he's like, I'll do the work in that. And so he fixed it all up for me when I was over there. The 2 that we bought moving back.
Did you get mortgages? Okay, these ones.
So these first 3 was cash.
Yeah.
We had to buy them cash. We couldn't get mortgages in Canada for them, and similarly we couldn't get banks over here. So we bought them all in cash, fixed them all up in that, and then
set up a limited company based in the UK and bought them through a UK company.
No, so that was a bad mistake I made. So we just bought them through our Canadian limited company.
Right.
All right.
So we've paid double ADS on a couple of our.
They sell them back on, like
sell them back to Allan property.
Got you. So it's just at that time you just didn't really know how to structure things properly.
Yeah, had 0 network. See if we talk about this quite a bit. See if we knew the people now back in 2020. I think we'd be quite a bit further ahead. But it was just.
I'm disappointed that you didn't come across the Scottish Property Podcast in Canada.
So fault me, didn't have the reach.
We'll get it out there now. I'll get it onto my socials then, and I'll maybe get some new listeners. But
that's cool, man. So like, obviously you've done well out there. You've come back. Family reasons, totally get it. You want the network, the support. Like, how's it panned out for you since? Like, how long's that you've been back now?
4.5 years. We moved back September 2019. So, you're getting ready to go. You're getting ready to get all your relationships with your friends back and get the nights out again. And you've got a babysitter, and then COVID hits. And it's like, cool, everybody stay in the house. And so you've got a year. And then, for there, it's been just obviously a bit weird. Everybody's kind of settled into routines. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people don't have the same routines as they had before COVID. So
how many kids you got?
Just one.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 years old he is. So
settled into school now.
Yeah, I started school last year.
Brilliant.
P1. So
bring us on.
So what was the plan when you came back then? Were you going to build a portfolio and add to the 3 you'd got in Blantyre?
So we moved back and we moved into one of them until we found our house. So we lived in one of them. We did it a wee bit nicer because we weren't sure how long we would actually stay in it. It turned out it was only 6 months because there was a new build estate being built where we live now. and we had our eye on that. That's where we wanted to be. We liked the area. It wasn't too far for like our parents, so we had our eye on that and we got it. We moved into that the Friday before the first lockdowns. We moved in, and then Monday everybody was locked down. So
Allan's luck strikes again.
I know.
Wait a minute, although you've come back, you've sold your assets over there and you've come back with a bit of money. I'm taking it. I take it you don't have a job at this point, or did you still have income coming in?
Yep. So I still worked for the company. It just I come over here. So
you've still. I still
had a good wage coming in. I still had the income, and I've always had other things. So the good thing about working with that company, they were okay with me having my own kind of side stuff. They didn't mind that I made income out with the business as well, because they'd brought me in for my expertise and what I'd done. So it was in my contract that I could work. So
the side stuff for you referring to like stuff like property?
Property, still did some affiliate marketing. Still had other income streams coming in. So we saved a lot of that up, which allowed us to be able to buy those first 3 in cash. Once we moved back, I stuck with all that. So I still worked for the company for 2 more years, and then I got to a point where I just, it was becoming a bit of a chore. The 5-hour time difference. So I'd be sitting on a Friday night, glass of wine, film on with Angela, message, hey, can we do a quick 15-minute call? It's like 9 o'clock at night.
No.
It wasn't 15 minutes, it was an hour. So then, it was like
getting too much.
Yeah, it was eating into kind of family life quite a bit, to be honest. Like my wee boy was at nursery after all the COVID craziness, and he'd come home from nursery, say 4 o'clock. I'd go in, say hi, how was your day? 5 minutes, back to the office. Yeah. Dinner was on the table, 5 o'clock, and eat my dinner. 20 minutes later, back to the office, working till 8 o'clock at night. So what's
Angela doing? It's Angela, isn't it? Your wife. Yeah. What was she doing at this point as well?
So she was not really doing much. Angela's background is she's an interior designer. Right. So that's what's really great about having her in the business as well. I don't need to think about things. She just makes everything look good. Perfect. Obviously at this time with the COVID stuff, kind of just our focus was getting settled back in Scotland. So she wasn't really doing anything, but we knew that we were going to grow the business. That was what we both enjoyed and we wanted to do. So once I quit working for the company, we took a bit of time out though. I took a good year out, I think. And we kind of travelled a bit in that because we both love travel. So did a bit of travel in that. We knew our son would be going to school in 2023, so we wanted to make the most of 2022.
Before he went to school.
Yeah. And then obviously last year, the start of 2023, we made plans to really just go for it.
See, when you take that year out though, like I've often thought that'd be pretty cool just to take a bit of time out. Yeah. But I would imagine, and even if you've got a bit of money saved up, it quickly goes, especially if you're travelling that as well. So did you?
I mean, we weren't doing crazy travel. We did a few holidays, and it wasn't expensive. It was like over to Turkey in off season, like April, because we could take Finlay out of nursery. It was not so we didn't have to compete with the school holidays. Went to like Egypt, went to Spain, did a few weekend trips ourselves. But the money doesn't last very long.
So then you're like, right, how can I take this, or how can we take this forward now as a serious business in terms of the property stuff? Yep. So that's the kind of stage you're at now.
Yep. So we got the money out of the 3 houses actually in 2021. We got mortgages on them. Aye.
Because they were obviously cash bought, no mortgages. So you've all got all that equity tied up there, not really doing it, not working. And then you start learning about, start listening to Stephen here and stuff, and start learning about how you can use your money more effectively.
We still never even knew about like the people we know now. Like we still never really knew anybody. I had to beg a mortgage broker from Glasgow to take my case on. He's like, listen, I only do minimums of 250 grand. And I was like, but the 3 of them together are above that. So he took it on, got me more money out. It took about 5 months. Got the money out, and that was when I thought, right, there's got to be an easier way. It can't be that hard to beg somebody to charge me £1,000 broker fee per property.
So you taking out 75% loan to value mortgages on these, and then releasing the rest of the funds.
Yeah. So I'm running back into the money back into the Canadian company. So we settled all our taxes and stuff like that through that. And then obviously we get a chunk. So we used that to start funding the real Allan property then. Cool. And that's where we kind of started. So, and from there, 22 was kind of more like a planning year, looking about. We did some viewings and stuff. We looked at what was for sale, and then we'd keep an eye on what it was going for. Obviously, using no
Just studying the market. Yeah.
But everything was flying. 22, everything was like, so I'm like, how can we compete here? And then towards the end of 22, we started to hear about sourcers, started to get Instagram ads. So obviously the algorithms are seeing what I'm searching on Google and stuff like that.
You're looking for
yeah, so the ads are starting to get tailored to me. So start to reach out to a few people. I was like, okay, learn more, I started to find guys like we use Michael Lenny at Go Financial as our broker. Started to find guys like them. I was like, okay, this is, this would have been much easier. So 23, we started with a deal. Actually, we got a flat in Hamilton. We fixed that up. Nice wee place. We bought another flat 2 months later in Bodville. That was turnkey, put it on the market. And then just from there, it just snowballed. 2023 just started to be...
Started going, yeah.
And then we found the network, This Is Wealth. And that's from that, you're instantly... You've got 150 people, 170 people you can message, talk to, ask what they're doing, meet for coffees, and it just, from there, it just got better and better. So
that's awesome. And you started adding in flips as well recently, didn't you?
We did our first official flip. It was, and we finished it in March. It went on the market and it sold in a week.
Brilliant.
So that's in legals right now. That's held up due to the 6-month thing, see, with the mortgage companies. So I forgot about that. So I thought I was getting money this Friday, and then my lawyer's like, no.
Where was the flip?
It's in Leyson Hall in Hamilton. I don't know if you know the area, like kind of Ernock
Not
area.
Really, but what sort of property?
So it's a 2-bed terraced ex-council house. It was, somebody owned it and they rented it to the council for 15 years. This is the neighbour told me the story. Council ran it as like a scatter house.
Just temporary accommodation and stuff like that.
Pretty much, and it was in pretty bad shape. I mean, the carpets were like spit through material and they were glued to the floors. So we ripped up all these carpets and then we had to scrape all the bits left over off the floorboards.
Been there. That's a nightmare job, by the way.
Did you buy it from the council then?
No, it was a private person that owned it, and I think it was an estate sale. I think the dad maybe had it, and I don't know that specifics, but essentially we bought it for a private seller, and we fixed it up. Took about 10 weeks.
On the market, off the market?
That was on the market, but we still got it under home report, which
Can
was
you share the figures briefly for the listeners? So everyone's always wanting to know how much you made out of it.
So the home report was 90. We got it for 82.5.
Yeah.
We spent, after ADS legals, we were about £89,000 into it. We spent 28,000 on the refurb. The refurb turned out to be a lot more than we thought. So 28,000. So all in for about 117. Take away exit legals, exit like the estate agent fees, call it 120, but we'll get 135 for it. So about £15,000 profit, which
you're quite a quick one.
Quick, 10 weeks.
Did you enjoy it, the process, or?
I enjoyed the first 4 weeks. I hated the middle 3 weeks, and then I enjoyed.
What happened? The bit that you hated.
This sounds like me with flips. Like
it's just feels never ending. Do you know what I mean? Like, so just to get into it, and I needed everything, the full rewire, everything plastered. So guys went in and rewired it, and then everybody knows electricians are messy gets, right? So the place was, they left the place at a riot, but it was all brick walls as well.
Raggles everywhere.
So it was like we've tidied it all up, and then the plasterer came in to plaster.
Messy bastards.
Messy buggers, right?
That's funny, because I was actually on the way home from the SAS Scotland Air networking event last night. I was listening to a podcast, came on randomly, and it was a trades podcast, right? So the podcast title was plasterers versus electricians, and they were having this debate about who was the messiest. And like you say, they're all blaming each other.
So the plasterer is like, you see these electricians, I mean, look at this box they're leaving me, it's a disgrace. Then the electricians would come in, that plasterer's an arsehole, he's plastered over my socket.
Some of the back boxes.
And it was just, it was dealing with all that. But we made a lot of mistakes in that flip, which it's a good thing. We still pulled a profit out of it because we've learned a lot, which is going to stand us in good stead.
And did Angela get in there with her touch for the interior design, make it look all nice?
She's what pulled in the 15 grand profit.
That was the profit, but the rest of what you did, that was...
all it was, my mistakes. I'm like, those windows are fine. We don't need to replace the windows. We go in, get it. The windows are gubbed.
Right. So big, obviously, learning points out of that.
Yeah. Like, but again, the people that see, one thing I liked about it is a lot of people kind of stood up and helped us. Like I thought the garden needed a power wash and a weed kill, 50 quid worth of weed killer, but no, it needed a full overhaul. So my mate's a landscaper, so he wasn't busy at the time, thankfully. So he goes, right, I'll come in.
Aye.
You help me. You're labouring though, and then we'll get it done together.
Now he's heard about the 15 grand profit. He's like, he'll have the invoice sent in Monday morning.
Well, I probably.
I know. I mean, it is about that. Like you say, we talk about it at the start. I think I used to call on friends for help and stuff like that, and then the more you get and the bigger you grow, the less you get help. Because then they realise, wait a minute here.
Yeah.
So I had that in the first couple as well. And I actually remember thinking back, I mean, I had 3 or 4 my pals round and they were getting this flat ready for, this flat in Partick, and they were out, we were fitting a kitchen and all that, and they would all come round and help me fit this kitchen. And just for like, I was just buying them like a curry and stuff like that, you know, just
couple of beers in the pub, and
that's it. Do you know what I mean? But like looking back, I probably made about 20 grand on that flat. And
that's why the fucking coming anywhere near you.
I just wouldn't expect anybody to help me now.
Different stage of life as well. Like about families and stuff like that. I found it funny what you're saying about the flip though. Like I'm very much the same. When every time I start a flip project, it's always like so much excitement that first few weeks. You're putting the plans together, you're getting all stripped out, and then when the fucking roughing just goes on for ages and there's plaster mess everywhere for weeks and weeks and weeks, and you're like, I just want to see paint going on, I just want to see finishes. And then like you say, that then I always get bored of the snag and I always want to just go to the next project. I'm just fed up with it. I'm like, I fucking want this.
Or when you've begged for the paint and you again start getting the paint done, you're like, oh, this is a pain in the arse as well. You know, it's like we painted the full place ourselves because to save money. We would, I was worried. I was Hamilton. I'm thinking, I'm looking around about at sale figures and I'm like, oh no, I've buggered this up, right? But I'd spoke to Momo Homes, who they got me the deal. I bought it from them, then I let them sell it on. So I'd spoke to Innes there, and he said, listen, I think you'll be fine. Like, just get it done to the quality you said you're going to get it, and I think it'll be nice. But Angela smashed it. I mean, the bathroom, I posted it in the group.
Need to have a look back at that on your Instagram feed. For listeners who are listening to this, it's Allan Property. So there's pictures on there of that one then.
There,
go and have a
the
look.
bathroom's absolutely beautiful. The kitchen.
What was what was your home report on that when you finished it?
135.
Was it 135? You got the 135.
We got the 135.
Right,
so
I wonder if the quality of that finished, how much they pushed that home report up.
So the surveyor that did the home report, he's quite good friends with the owner of Momo Homes. So, he'd come in very friendly to us, obviously, at the start. And he came in and said the finish was exceptional. He's happy to put that on it. So that was good. But he did say, like, as the finish, the bathroom is just, we went for the kind of gold trim finishes, like the taps and stuff like that. And it's just things like that. It just helped it stand out. So there was nothing on the market. I mean, nothing even close to that quality of finish. So it stood out for people, I think.
So you're talking about what, like 15% profit margin on the, do you know what I mean? So 15%, because a lot of the big question is like, people are like, how much should I be making out of flip and all the rest of it? But it really just depends. Well, I guess it boils down to time spent on the floor. How much do you value your time? Yeah. Sounds like with that one, you put up quite a bit of your time in.
We did. I like the rip out. I like doing that myself. So we get in first weekend and ripped it out. My stepdad came up and helped me. And then, so we got it was quite quick. We ripped out before Christmas. And then I said, you know what, that's it. We shut it down for Christmas. We picked it back up in January. So we were in it, felt like we were in it quite a bit, but there was those days where it felt like nothing got done. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you drop the wee man at school at 5 to 9, up there, get going, get set up. You have to be back in the house for 1:30, say, get a shower, look presentable to go back up to the school to get the wee man. So,
what are your thoughts, like, moving forward? Obviously, if you're now seriously doing the property as a business, flips are great because they generate chunks of cash, but very difficult to have that consistency there and kind of rely off that income. So moving forward, what's your plans now for having, obviously, for paying your bills, and like, where's the income coming from for just having a decent quality life then? So
what we did is we put away a portion of savings, like enough to give us a few years at this, to see if it was going to work. I do still have small income that's like a kind of recurring thing coming in. It's not a lot, but it's enough to kind of pay for a few things. We've got, in the portfolio, we've got 12 buy-to-lets, so Some of them are quite profitable now because they were mortgaged up in 2001. Rents have went up, obviously. So the portfolio, it easily covers itself, thankfully.
Cash flows well now.
It's supposed to, but I was just looking at the
use
bank
that cash flow to live off? Because that's another question that's coming up. You know, like it's not so much a thing now, is it? People are not.
You can see it backtracking. People going back to like 10 years previously where they didn't live off the cash flow. They almost use it to pay down debt and make it a pension pot or a bit of long-term investment.
Well, so we're supposed to have cash flow, but then I looked at the bank account this morning and all the rents that have come in and the mortgages have went out, and then there's no really much left. So it's things, it's situations. Like we've got a tenant right now that's she's not paying a wee bit. So that's hurt us. We've still got to pay the bills. Try to resolve that with her. We had 3 washing machines in the last 6 weeks or 8 weeks ago. So, you know, it's money there. And so it was just, we've had a bit of, I'd say a kind of wee spell of bad luck. No terrible, but
some maintenance, some void, some rent arrears.
Thankfully, though, that's the good thing about the cash flow at this point. It covers that, which is nice. You know, it's not like we're then saying, right, well, we've got this pot of money to live on right now. Take for that and put it in. You know, it can cover it, so that's good. And then we put quite a good pot of money into the business as well to allow us to buy the properties, fix them up, get them mortgaged, and move on and keep going. So.
What's the plans for the growth then? You're looking at portfolio purchases to scale it a little bit quicker?
So this year I've reviewed probably 6 or 7. Some of them kind of way out of my league, but I think the analysis part of it's quite good to still do.
6 or 7 what? Sorry?
Portfolios.
Yeah. This is the buzz thing at the moment. Obviously, everyone's looking at portfolios. And I understand, obviously, the rationale is that, you know, Stephen talks about it a lot. You know, you might as well be, if you're putting in that amount of work, you know, you've acquired a small portfolio of buy-to-lets. Now you've got that base level structure there. If you're going to do the work anyway, you might as well try and do it on a scale. And then it's the ADS savings as well, isn't it?
That's for me. I hate paying any forms of like tax.
Don't need to.
It's just annoys me. See, when the lawyers, you see that line item and the lawyers ADS, and it's
especially like, with the 6%. So that's the incentive. In over what is it? 6.
6,
6 is the magic number.
1%. Multiple dwellings really few. It's there was chat to get closing that loophole. England have done it, but chances of Scotland doing it are looking likely. But then,
well, we're in a better position now. We've just got rid of the Greens and Patrick Harvey, so hopefully that won't come on the agenda and they'll just forget about that.
Like too much to concentrate on now.
Exactly.
So lost our First Minister as well. So
that's we just had a big chat about that recently.
If they could reduce the 6% back down in line by England, that'd be even better.
It'd be brilliant. But I think it would. Imagine what it would do, though. I mean, there's quite a lot of people like coming into this world. I know there's loads of courses, loads of Instagram ads, a lot of buzz about it, get in, you know, make some money and stuff. So there is a lot of people coming in, but I wonder what it would do for competition though, if it would, you know, if it would make things go a wee bit wild again.
Well, talking about that, you've obviously you're starting to do a few things in England as well.
Yes, we've got a flip. We're on.
So that's part of the attraction, obviously. It's less tax.
And I think for flips down there, there's still quite good amounts of profits to be had if you do it right.
So you've teamed up with Big Chris, who's been on the show.
Yeah.
Good character.
No, you know, he sent me a couple. He sent me one last week. I was painting my living room and I get a message for Chris and I came up on my Apple Watch and I was like, painting, I'll get back to him when I'm done. So I messaged him back. It wasn't so much a grunter, but on the lower end. And I replied saying, that sounds okay, mate. If he send me some photos and stuff. And he's like, too late, I bought it myself. So I was like, okay, well.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah, so no, he knows what I'm looking for up here. And he sends me, you know, I've bought one from him that's tenanted right now. As I said earlier, I've got one in legals that's probably going nowhere, unfortunately. And then we've got this flip that he brought to us in Hexham. So that'll be kicking off probably about 4 weeks from now.
Have you seen that one or not?
No, just loads of photos, a lot of documentation, a big presentation document as well sent to us for it.
Is the idea to be kind of a bit more hands off then?
Aye, definitely. I want Chrissy's guys, his team. They'll go and they'll do it all. I think we'll go down to see it when we officially own it. Let Angela get in, take a look, you know, start to plan a bit, and then Chris said he'll make a group chat with the builders, us. And Angela will obviously do the design on it as well to try and kind of maximise the returns on it.
So you're going far and wide as well, because you even ventured up into Aberdeen.
Yeah, 4 up there.
How did that go? How did that pan out? You didn't get the result you wanted to keep going, did you?
No, I'll not be buying in Aberdeen again.
There you go. This is nice. I've been telling people this for years and years and years, and now I've got somebody here to back me up.
I thought I'd bring it up for us to share that story.
So tell us the real story about Aberdeen.
So it's again, it will go down to, it's probably a bit of bad luck. The first one I got, though, I think I'd mentioned to you, the first one's been shooty in. It was almost an all money out deal. So we bought that in August. We tenanted it within a month. The guy left us the furniture and it was completely ready to go, fully compliant. We bought it cash, put a tenant in. The boiler went in December, so that was kind of pain in the bum. But we got the boiler done and it's been tenanted, it's going well. We just get the money out of that last week or 2 weeks ago, finally.
Money left in the deal. This is a buy, renovate, refinance, was it?
We didn't, no renovation.
No renovation.
Aye, it was just
buy a below market value.
Yep.
Tenant it and then chuck a new mortgage on it.
So we wouldn't be expecting to get all your money back out then.
I was very close.
Was it?
Even with the boiler.
So you got to like bounce up a wee bit. You know what I mean? Like that is a good result.
It was. I think in this one, even taking the boiler. So what I say when I say like the money in, money out, like I count the rent obviously because it was unencumbered for 6 months. So I'll take the rent in the account as well, but. Yeah, I think probably about $3,000 left in that one.
Where was that?
That one's on Wallfield Crescent.
Nice.
Yeah, so really nice bit.
The West End, yeah.
Yep.
One bed flat?
One bed flat, ground floor, and a surveyor.
Surprised surprised that didn't come across your radar.
I quite like Wallfield Place, to be fair.
It's nice.
Yeah. Except for you overlook on a cemetery.
On the...
That wall, the big tall wall.
So we're the other side. We're the other side. So now that deal was brought to us by Taylor McDonald. I was on holiday and Taylor messaged me. He's like, what do you think of this? And the guy, I'm kicking myself though, the seller had another one. We're number 19. The seller had 15 as well. Same situation, but he wanted $4,000 more for it. And I was like, nah, I'm not a chance. I'm not paying that. I'll give you the same amount. And so we couldn't make the deal work. But
right, so that's the good. Now tell us the bad.
So bad. Number two then.
Number two was Lamond Place. Was a full refurb, top floor, full refurb. Which that we got the deal.
Not as good an area, but
not as good an area. It's a studio as well.
Aye.
Probably that was my first mistake. Should have stayed away for that. But I thought, you know what, we'll do it.
Take note, listeners.
Yeah, don't buy top floors.
Top floors are paying national Aberdeen with the roofs.
Windows, roofs. Yeah, so we had to do the roof on that one, and then because it was a dormer style, apparently it wasn't split up.
So it was yours, one of yours,
mine, and that was the one that you'd remember I posted in the groups. I was getting a quote at £6,000 for the roof, and I was like, no way, not a chance. So I just, on the off chance, I just joined this as well at the time. I posted in the group just saying, does anybody get a roof in Aberdeen? I posted my quote, and Stephen replied, he's like, here, James like messaged James Beattie. So James went up and done it for about half price. And that's it. So it's been great. So that one, Windows as well. I don't often
plug this as well, but there you've saved your subscription fee straight away.
That's what I said, didn't I? Right after this, I was like, "There's about 3 years worth of."
You are helping people.
Yeah,
we try our best.
Well, I'm using James again this week for another roof. So
is that why I can't fucking get?
That's the danger, isn't it? When you start passing out your contacts, the prices go up, and then you can't get them.
Yeah. No. So the second one, that was really, really nice though. We did that to high spec. We get quite a good, so it was quoted as a full rewire, but then in the end the electrician went in, he's like, nah, it's not a full rewire. So it was consumer unit change, a couple of wee bits and bobs. So we thought, beauty, we've saved about $2,000 here. Then the windows were rotted, it was old wooden windows. So we had to drive a window up from Glasgow up there because the window was going to be a 6-week delay, and it was leaking like crazy on our new kitchen. So I ordered the window down here, put it in the back of the car, and I drove it up. The boys fitted it. The roof went, like I said, so that was a pain in the bum. That was like $3,500 that cost us. So we get a wee bit unlucky with that one. That obviously
valuation come back in as expected. The rent?
No, we had to take that to 4 different. We only actually signed the papers for that yesterday. We had to go to I think it was 3 banks.
Right.
The first guy valued it at 56,000. We were told 60, 65.
So what square meter studio was it? Sorry,
37.
Was it? So it was over the 30, wasn't he? Ball in the middle end, right?
So we need to watch time, obviously, without going through all your deals up there in Aberdeen. Could you just bullet point pros and cons?
Don't buy top floor.
He wants the shite ones.
Yeah, the shite. Don't buy top floor. The roof's going to go at some point. Always look for windows, because it's all the wooden style.
Yeah.
And then anything with council in it as well.
But the other reasons why you wouldn't, you've just said there that you won't be going back to Aberdeen to buy more. So again, just summarising, why not? The valuations, is that an issue?
Valuations, aye.
Because we're hearing this again and again now a wee bit more.
Yeah.
So it's just for listeners, to give the listeners...
I think you're leaving, like, if like, obviously your situation is very different, but I think buying one by one and trusting that the valuation is going to be... we've no... The Wallfield Crescent one came back right on point what we thought, but the other three we've been hammered on them.
It can be quite inconsistent, just kind of, you just up and down, and you're like, what the hell? Like that one went, and then this one's no...
It's really, really inconsistent.
I'm going to stick to like the South Lanarkshire area, Glasgow area, but South Lanarkshire is like what I like, you know.
We're hearing quite a lot of down valuations generally in the group as it is at the moment. I don't know if that's lenders just getting a bit twitchy and...
Yeah, that's what I think. Twitchy. I think they're taking a bit of extra risk off the table and saying, you know, like, be a bit on the kind of...
I need to balance up a wee bit. On the market update, we've just read out the top high yielding cities in the UK, and Aberdeen was at number 2. So, you know, there are benefits of buying Aberdeen as well, and you know, because I know I'm going to get loads of messages here. Chris mentioned being one of them, although...
I'm interested to hear as well, because obviously when you first bought in Canada, like 2010, you've obviously understood the fact that the market's crashed, the repossessions were going, you got the prices at rock bottom. Do you study the economy in Aberdeen and the prices and think that the bottom's there and the prices you're buying are good? I
don't think we're going to... I think if we hold them 5 years or more, I don't see us losing out, you know what I mean? I'll say that I'm not going to buy an Aberdeen again, but if a solid deal comes out, like you message me and say, you know...
one that you know you've got good comparables, or you've got good sales. That's the problem, is because there's not been a lot of sales in the 600 flats, you're struggling to get comparables, and the surveyors can put in whatever they're wanting to put on, to be fair.
And a lot of them look at it as well and say, well, you bought this 4 months ago for this price and you've done this, and it's not going to... That was one of the comments. It's not worth double. So I was like, okay.
By the way, while we're on Aberdeen, a wee shout out to Minchin, because he's had a really hard time lately. Health-wise, he had a big scare out action for a long time, and he's just back.
He's in a coma. He's in coma for about 10 days, I think.
Chris Minchin, who's part of our team at networking events, and has got a letting agent up in Aberdeen. So shout out to Chris if you're listening, mate. Hope all's going well, and
get well soon.
We're needing you back at these networking events.
So I'm going to have to go up there tomorrow.
Stephen's putting in the extra miles. So that's good. So the plans and the future and the
just keep going. We've got one closing on Friday, a 3-bed ex-council house. It's a full refurb. It'll take us about 8 weeks straight onto the rental market. That's in the portfolio. The flip, as you'd mentioned, is coming, so that'll be exciting over the summer. We're still actively looking for more right now.
Do you have a number in mind, or is it just kind of keep going and see what happens? And
now it is. At the start, it was like 15 to 20, roughly work out what that might make you in life each month, then live off it. But then we had a conversation with somebody one time, and they're like, "Why would you stop? If you get to 20, why not have 30? Why not have 40?" So
you've got the systems in place. You've got the knowledge, the experience to grow and keep going.
And we've got some of the portfolio we bought way back, like the earlier ones in 2018, 19. So we've got good equity in them now. So as the mortgages expire in 26, we'll kind of release more equity out of them, then that will give us more funds to go again. So
have you been looking at any other strategies? Some people doing serviced accommodation or commercial property.
Commercial's something I see is moving into at some point, definitely. I don't know enough about it, but I'm starting to network with people that do it. My brother's best friend growing up, he's a quantity surveyor. He owns his own company and he's in commercial. So we had a lunch meeting a few weeks ago to start discussing working together, getting some stuff.
Absolutely, I don't mind saying this, but I was at a networking event last night. It was the SAS Scotland, Stephen Gallagher, isn't it? Stephen Gallagher. Very good. And the great thing is he goes round different projects. So like last night they'd bought this commercial building down in Ayr. So they were showing us that they just bought the building, showing us the plans. They had all the plans laid out inside, so you could see how they were subdividing the rooms. Yeah. They went into all the figures and all that. Absolutely great setup. So that's, I think, every month. SAS Scotland.
Check that then.
Networking event. Great place to meet people that are doing
think it's
stuff.
Inevitable to go in there as well, and it's it's a good opportunity as well. So serviced accommodation, I look at it and stuff, but I don't know. for every single person that tell you it's amazing, there's two people telling you about the horror stories as well. So for my risk tolerance at this time,
you sound like sound like you're all for the lifestyle as well, like your family time, time with Angela. Yeah, you want the business to support you guys and your lifestyle, not create yourselves more jobs. So does sound like service accommodation wouldn't be one for you then. Yeah, not right now. Maybe some point, maybe in a couple of years. But
well, it's great to have somebody in that's bigging up the buy to let, because you know we're still heavily involved in buy to let. There's so many people you meet now. So I'm not getting involved in rental properties. No.
Nice, mate.
Brilliant. Nice to have you in.
Thanks so much.
Where can people?
Go for it. Yeah, where can people reach out to you?
Instagram. Yeah, Allan Property that's mostly what we use. Yeah, that's the best place to get a hold of us. Facebook as well if they want, but that's kind of Instagram's the kind of industry tool, isn't it? Yeah. So, and then
keep posting because people enjoy it. Yeah, watching the journey.
Definitely.
Nice, mate. I appreciate it. Cheers for that.
Cheers.